Hi guys, this is the Sales and Marketing Show, and I'm your host, Dami Olanrewaju. This show is powered by Emeraldis Digital, the market growth company. Today I have something very interesting to discuss with you guys, and my topic actually is, if your innovation strategy is not working, ditch it and try this. Try what? You want to know? Join me at the other side of the break. Stay tuned. Welcome back. Now, one of the things that I see happening to marketing people is around innovation. It's so tough to compete in the marketplace, and you really want to have that sustainable competitive advantage. But one of the drivers of sustainable competitive advantage is actually innovation. So the whole idea around innovation, and there are several theory and strategies around innovation. But have you been trying some lately? Maybe you're trying to uncover areas where you can actually add value, more value to the client, and your strategy seems not to be working. I stumbled across one framework that I think is going to help you, and that's what I'm sharing today. It's called Jobs to be Done framework. And I'm going to be walking you through the Jobs to be Done framework and how you can actually use it to amplify your innovation and achieve market growth. So let's get right into it, right? Have you ever thought about this fact that when customer buys a product, say for example, a laptop, which is what is in front of me here, or a car or something, it is bought with the mindset of getting something done. And that's why we have the whole idea of jobs to be done. Because what happens most of the time as marketers is that we try to develop a product and try to find a market fit, try to find, people that will use this. Or most of the time, we even try to force those guys to use our product. But why don't you try and look at what are those things or those jobs that customer needs to get done, and how can you actually position your products to serve that? So it's a reverse thinking that you have to imbibe here in trying to come up with your next product. As a matter of fact, you can also even use it for existing products. So you need to watch what customers are trying to solve, the problem they are trying to solve, the jobs they are trying to get done. That's how you think. So remember, one of the things that must happen in 2020 going forward is customer centricity, right? Customer must be at the heart of everything you're doing. You must be obsessed with the customer. So that's why we want to look at your product from the standpoint of the jobs that needs to be done. That's JTBD. So let's get to it. The first step in this framework is to actually find the jobs that the customer is trying to get done, like I said, right? So, for example, if you're trying to, wash your clothes, that's a job that should be done. Now, one of the things you need to understand is that there are several ways, right, that you can get that done, right? There are several ways that you can get it, or you can get it done through laundry, which is a preferred way, right? You can hand wash, but there's some fabrics actually that you can hand wash, right? Or there's some fabrics you cannot actually use the laundry machine, right? So those are part of the tricky areas where you need to understand exactly what jobs needs to be done. So if somebody is trying to go from point A to point B, the jobs that needs to be done is that of transportation or mobility. However, there are different ways that you can achieve mobility. Then there are some aspects of this that might not actually be necessary for you to, most of the time we think we're adding values to customer by adding features. When you use a jobs to be done framework, you realize that there are some of the features of your products that are actually not necessary, that you can actually cut off and probably replace that cost to serve them in other areas that will be more useful and more pertinent to the jobs they are trying to get done. So the first thing is for you to identify the jobs to be done. The second point is to uncover customers' needs. Now, after you've identified the jobs that needs to be done, which, for example, in the case of transportation is mobility, the next thing is to uncover, try and get customers' need. So, for example, customer needs could include convenience. I want it to be convenient for me. Some is cost. So for example, you can remember the typical BAT, that's British Airways versus, maybe something like American Western Airline, right? Western Airline. So which is all about no frill, very cheap. But at the other end, some wants the premium, stuff, right? Look at what Virgin Atlantic did. Virgin was able to bridge the gap between two. That's extreme premium, which is convenience, and cost, being at the middle. And that's what happens when you try to uncover customers' need. So in your industry, you need to look at what are the latent needs of your customer. Also note that this is applicable to B2B too. So for example, you might think that your customer wants brand awareness. But if you probe further, you might realize that the actual customer need is actually lead generation or lead conversion. And not understanding this, for example, as a marketing agency can actually cost you loads of opportunity in terms of lost client, lost opportunity, and there will be, a lot of issues, right? So you need to uncover customer needs. The third point is to gather quantitative customer needs. So at this point, remember at the first phase, they are actually very qualitative, which means they're actually, things that you can feel, right? But at this point, you might want to, validate your the qualitative data by quantitative one, which means we need hard fact and figures. So, and this is even very easy for a product that is existing currently. So you might want to look into your sales report. You might want to look at your retention and your churn report. You might want to look at your feedback system. And that's why we cannot overemphasize the place of customer relationship management software. And like I said in the previous edition, there are several free open source software that you can use, especially if you're an SME and you cannot afford all these high-end CRM system. So because you need to capture data in your business. So one of the things that happens is that you begin to see some pattern. So the fourth point is to actually uncover growth opportunity. In this step of the process, the things you want to find out is looking for patterns. Looking for patterns. One of the things you begin to realize is something like maybe 70% of your product is responsible for your bottom line. Or for example, maybe one or two feature is actually responsible for 80% of your retention with client, And so one of the things you might want to do is to find areas of growth opportunities. One of the things the qualitative and quantitative data will also do for you is to realize areas where you are not actually meeting clients' needs as they would want you to, right? So you need to look out for that growth opportunities. So because that will actually help you to understand what new feature to introduce or features to ditch and get, real value for the customer. The fifth point is to now actually, based on growth opportunity that you've uncovered, to formulate marketing strategy, or in the case of existing products, to re-strategize. So what that means is that you now begin to look at how exactly you want to serve customer in their task of getting the job done. So you need to formulate your marketing strategy to know what unique features and characteristics that you're going to, latch on in the marketplace, and that's how to really do this gist. So the sixth point after formulating the market strategy is to actually formulate the product strategy. Remember, the reason why you have to do that is because the market is larger than the product. In the market mix, you want to take care of, place, you want to take care of promotion, you want to take care of price. But most importantly now, what you do at the sixth phase is to actually formulate your product strategy, which means how do I put this product together to actually help the client to get the job done in real time, right? So remember, you will have walked through that process of how they get the job done. So what are the processes people use when they want to wash their clothes? It might look simplistic, right? Until you go through the process. And that's why you need to do real-time, research on this. Because one of the things you might not realize. So for example, let me give you a classic example. You guys must know about the coffee machine, right? It came about based on the fact that the company that actually, did a major work on it had to look at the jobs that needs to be done. Before the coffee machine was invented, they realized that in preparing coffee, right, people would have to boil the water, they will have to get the the substance that they will need to use, the coffee, right? And they will have to get different things, in different places. So the whole idea is the jobs to be done actually is to brew a coffee or get a coffee, right? So the whole idea is that all of the steps are so disparate and so separated and so scattered that it's actually going to cause the customer stress. So the whole idea is that why can't we put all of these things together to actually help the customer to get the job done? So you see a practical example of that. So guys, you need to look through. So for example, let me even give it a B2B example, right? So look at software, like HRM software. So one of the things that software developer realizes is that there are a lot of HR tasks that are being performed separately and they can be pretty cumbersome, right? And most of it are actually very manual, very repetitive, and can be very boring. So what did they uncover? What are the jobs to be done? HR management, right? What are the tasks that we need to do? We need to do payroll, we need to do recruitment, we need to keep employees' record, we need to do performance appraiser, and all of that. So what's the solution? Let us put all of these things together in one place and let us get the job of people management. They just looked at how they can actually make the HR work to be easy. So that even if you're a non-practitioner, if you're an SME owner, a small business owner, right, you can actually perform HR tasks with, just using the software. So you can see how all of these things plays out. So guys, you need to look at your current processes, look at your current service or your product and see and look at it from the standpoint of the job that needs to be done, rather than what you think the customer needs, rather than what you actually have an idea of what the customer needs. In fact, there are limits as to asking them even what they need, right? And that's why you need to look at this model, look at this framework, and look at how you can apply it. So guys, before you go, please try and subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us across all social media platforms. We're dropping content every day of the week, right? You also need to visit our blog post, and we have a great offer for you. Actually, we have a time frame for it. It's actually our free strategy session. We're only opening for 5 days every day of the month, right? So you might need to quickly go there now and fill the form for a free strategy session. It's free. We'll spend almost up to 60 minutes with you trying to dissect your services, your product, your offer, and look at how we can unlock value and achieve hyper growth in your business. It also comes with a full audit of your digital asset, of everything you're doing around your marketing, and a roadmap in form of strategy that you can actually use to win in 2020. So guys, go now to our website, click the link below and sign up for the free strategy session. I'll see you.